Stage 3 involves initiation. In other words, it involves orienting the person you support to the job site, transportation options, and the social environment. Stage 3 involves training the person for the job and fading from the job site. Stage 4 involves departure or leaving the job site. What distinguishes supportive employment from its predecessors is a commitment to ongoing support. Rather than the place and pray model, which relied on identifying work that had a high turnover rate, placing a person in the job and hoping they would not be fired. Consider the following video entitled "Everyone Can Work." While watching the video, answer questions 15 to 19 on pages 8 and 9 of the manual.
Everybody should work.
Oh, you sit on this one.
I want to teach children.
I think it's nice that I can be able to get out of the house for a while and do something useful.
He's miserable when he's not working.
I'll keep the job I have now, thank you.
I don't want to overstate the power of work, but I think we all have to admit, particularly in U.S. society, that work is a central piece that drives many other things that we do in our life. .66% of all people with disabilities are unemployed, and yet the vast majority of those people have indicated they very much want to have a job and be able to work. The good news is that we have had an extraordinary increase from less than 10,000 to over 100,000 in 8 years' time of supported employment nationally. That's the good news. The sobering and less encouraging news is that's still on a base of easily over 1 million people that could benefit from these services. Why support employment? Because it works. You start with what the person says they want to do. We go right to the job and we provide support at that job site based on what the consumer and the employer tell us is necessary for success there. The job coach is there providing almost kind of a safety net or support.
Okay, this is M-A-R-S-C, and you want M-A-R-S-H. So you have to look behind this file, right?
Mark.
I go to job sites and help people perform their jobs whenever they need help.
Is helping people with disabilities work, and that basically can be anything that they need to be employed. You know, job skills training, social skills training.
Setting up rides for the person.
What is the purpose of career planning? It helps to create a vision of the individual's work life and assists in the implementation of that vision. There are 3 phases to career planning. Phase 1 is getting to know the person. Phase 2 is formulating a planning team. And Phase 3 is developing that plan. Getting to know the person involves obtaining consent, following up on discrepancies between frontline staff and family members, assessing the individual's willingness to work in the community, determining the parent's support for integrated employment, identifying the ability of the individual to cope with the social demands of the workplace, the individual's motivation, social skills, work ethic, willingness to accept criticism, and stability in their non-work life. The goal is to flag any shortfall for the career planning team to consider. You will need to obtain first-hand information on work experience, education and training, special talents, medical issues, the individual's living arrangements, family support, income, hobbies and interests, social skills, and travel requirements. Consider the following video describing Nick. While watching the video, answers questions 23 to 27 on page 12 and 13 of the manual.
He's got a brother and then 2 sisters. On the right side, he's legally blind. And he also has some problems with his focusing and trying to keep his eyes on you at all times.
His right side is partially paralyzed, so he drags his foot a little bit, and his right arm is basically non-functional for any type of work type of activity. So he's pretty much relegated to his left hand, and his left side is the stronger side.
And what else would you like to say?
It takes a while to understand Nick's communication.
He wants to tell you so much and he can't. What do they like to do?
Once he really saw that we did care about him and we were going to give him the time, he really began to really blossom, I think.
He does better if he slows it down and just explains things, but as the worker needs to keep encouraging Nick to slow down. He lives in his own home, and he takes, a lot of pride in his home. There's ramps. I devised his bathroom so that there's a urinal, there's a walk-in shower. His microwave, it's color-coded, and he can push like 3 buttons, and he can make his own popcorn.
He loves exercising. He and his mother at least a couple times a week. It's kind of their thing to do.
We do his range of motion exercises, and then he loves to walk on the treadmill. Nick loves to swim, and he likes to dunk his mother. And then he also likes to play basketball. At home, he loves to play Uno. Then he also likes to go out for breakfast on Saturday mornings.
Can you get him a chocolate milk?
And that's a special treat. He goes with his dad, and he has breakfast with the guys.
Nick was in high school basically until he was 21 years old, so he had 7 years of high school education. Now, the 4 years were fairly much the standard high school routine. The last 3 years were pretty much just transitioning him into a work type of environment.
His first job was working as a custodian at a school, and he'd volunteered his time during that time. But then he moved on. He wanted to do more.
We have a cart ready for you here.
Anytime we had a situation where it was very routinized, Nick knew what he was doing, he felt very comfortable in those situations.
He needs probably more job training and job coaching than some of the other adults in his similar situation because of his limitations. And the other side, of course, he may need less than some other one. But I would guess it's one he needs more of the supervision to make sure he does the stuff right. Once he understands the routine, he's pretty good at doing that himself. The way we've got it set up right now is that his medication is given to Nick in the morning, so we've been able to set up the structure so that we don't have to worry about that as an additional burden or a concern for the job coach.
We're always watching his weight.
If you gave him a lot of food, he'll eat a lot. So we're constantly watching his diet and make sure that he gets his right quantities of the appropriate foods. Nick's at this situation, he'll never have a driver's license or anything like that, so it's either public transportation or private transportation.
We were doing a lot of bus training with Nick early in his years at West, and he became very independent where he started actually taking the bus from West to home by himself.
Right now, he does take the Badger cab.
Taxis have been, to a certain extent, a problem with Nick just because of the nature of taxis. They pick up other people, whether handicapped individuals or not, and they sometimes are late in getting to where they want to go. This type of thing frustrates Nick.
If there's a urinal, he is fine. It's when he needs the stool. It's very difficult for him, and he does have some problems, and staff would have to know that. We were looking at other kinds of job sites for him. Another thing is he really does want to be a bagger at the grocery store, and so that is another goal for him, and that's going to take a while.
He really has an ability to understand what his strengths and weaknesses are, and he has adapted.
Why go through all this planning to set up a career planning team? Why not just sit down with the person? Because there are others who have an interest in the person's well-being, and you can't do it all yourself. The career planning team should consist of 5 to 8 members and include only those members who have the person's interest in mind. Members must be willing to make a long-term commitment and be willing to play an active role. What should be included when creating an individual's history? Achievements and positive experiences, work-related skills and abilities, economic sectors of interest to the person, and jobs of interest to the individuals, which is the key to success. Consider the following video featuring Shannon LeClaire. While watching the video, answer question 31 on page 14 of the manual.
My name is Shannon LeClaire, and I have been working at Miles of Beans for a really long time. I felt really nervous today because there were 2 staff working with me today. So it was like chaos, so I hope this all work out. There's lots of seating if you guys ever want to come out to Miles of Beans and have fun and listen to music. There's lots of coffee and lots of steamed milk and lots of drinks. Biggest piece. The menu has been a great success. Yeah, that's perfect. What I do at Miles of Beans, I wipe the tables. I do the dishwasher. I also help with cappuccino maker. I sometimes water the indoor plants. I also make my own drinks, and I get my own discount. I get a discount on my lunch because I work at Miles of Beans. I had it before, and it was really, 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 really filling. And it was the best I've ever had. So, this is the healthy salad I'll be having for lunch again today. What I like about Miles of Beans is I like how Kim treats me nice. And I totally love Miles of Beans.